You know, most mornings when I wake up, I am literally aching to get out the door and get on my bicycle. But this, however, is not one of those mornings. It's been raining, it's still raining, my legs are just killing me. This is not something I want to do today. But with that being said, and I know this is going to sound almost counterintuitive, but with that being said, that is precisely the reason why it absolutely must happen today. You see, guys, the thing about improvement, growth, you're not always going to feel like it. And you've heard me talk about this before, and today's no exception. Every time I'm shooting, that happens. Today is no exception. I'm going to talk about it again. You're not always going to feel like it. In fact, I would submit that more often than not, you're not going to feel like it, because the things that are necessary for growth, for betterment, the things that are necessary to accomplish that goal are typically difficult. And it's almost always necessary to do it when you don't feel like it. Because if you wait until you feel like it, when you wait until you're rested enough, until you're motivated enough, you're probably not going to do it. Okay, more often than not, you're going to have to come outside or go into the gym or go into the classroom or go to the studio, wherever it is that you go. You're probably going to have to go in and start working when you don't feel like it. You're tired. You're a little under the weather. You're not motivated. That's going to be more often than not when you're trying to do something difficult. It's very easy to talk about doing it when you feel well. When you're well fed, it's easy to talk about going on a diet. When you're well rested, it's easy to talk about exercise. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about that diet when you're hungry? How do you feel about doing that exercise when you're tired? That is when it's necessary. That is when it is supremely necessary to do the work. There is no shortage of hills in this town. So I want to talk to you about something. I had somebody make a comment, I should say, the other day, and it's been bothering me for a day or two, and I kind of wanted to address it, and I wanted to address it in this video. I had somebody say, in essence, I don't remember the exact wording, but they basically said that they had purposely been avoiding my videos. They hadn't watched one of my videos in a long time, and when questioned why, excuse me, the response was, well, it makes me feel bad because you're always out doing something, and I'm so tired after work that all I want to do is go home and sit on the couch. I don't want to do anything, and watching your videos makes me feel guilty. Okay, number one, first of all, to that person, I want to say that I'm sorry. That is not my intention, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's not to make anybody feel bad. And I'll be honest with you, on the other side of the token, it's really not, these videos aren't designed to motivate you either. I'm not a motivator. You know my feelings on motivation. It's garbage. I don't believe in motivation. Even if there is a small specimen of motivation to be found in this world, number one, it's not enough to get anything done. Number two, it's never, ever there when you need it. So I'm certainly not here to make you feel bad, and I'm not here to motivate you either. So that begs the question, what am I doing? Well, that's a very good question. And I've given it some thought myself. What exactly am I doing? What am I hoping to impart on you with these videos? And I have an answer for you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad if you're not as active as you can be, could be, at any rate. And I'm not trying to motivate you either. What I'm trying to do, if anything, is provide a spark. And I mean a spark. I call it, well, I don't call it, it's called, scientists call it activation energy. If I'm trying to pass anything on from me and my lifestyle, the way I approach activity, if I'm trying to impart anything from me to you in that regard, it's about just activation energy. Let me show you what I mean. What I should have said is, let me give you an example. And this is the only analogy, well, it's probably not the only analogy. This is the first one that came to my head. I'm short on time. The storm is about to turn biblical. I need to get going. But I want to get this out here while I stretch my head. Activation energy. Imagine a car. You have a vehicle, and you have a fine vehicle, and it's got a giant 350 cubic inch engine. It's got bored out pistons. It has fuel injection. It has the finest tires on the road, dual exhaust. This is a pristine piece of work. Unless you have a starter in that engine compartment, that car, all those tens of thousands of dollars worth of components and technology is going nowhere. What does a starter do? It puts the car in motion. It gets a spark, it turns over the engine, and then it stops. That's it. It has a very, very short period of time to work. You turn the key, boom, it starts up. The starter shuts off. It's not doing anything anymore. Now it's that engine, and it's that oil, and it's those pistons, and it's that crankshaft, and the tires, and all of that. That's it's moving. Now it's going. But none of that happened without the starter, okay? Unless, and generally a starter lasts how long? 1 second, maybe 2? Unless it's on the type of cars that I own, in which case it could be 7 or 8 seconds. But for most people, it's just a 1 or 2 second thing. Turn the key, the starter spins, turns the crank, the car starts. The starter is done. It doesn't contribute anything once the car is in motion. But that's what put it in motion. The starter, the activation energy. If I'm trying to do anything with these videos, anything at all, it's not give you motivation, and it's certainly not to make you feel bad. If you're not out doing things, you should be out doing things, okay? It makes life much sweeter. But if you're not, I'm not trying to make you feel guilty about it, and I'm not trying to motivate you to do it. I'm trying to offer a tiny, tiny, almost immeasurable spark, activation energy. That's really all I'm trying to do. I want to put the thing in motion. But here's the thing about motion. Okay, so what were we taught about motion? Well, we were taught several things. But one of the things we were taught is that an object that's in motion stays in motion, okay? Once you get it moving, it keeps moving. But don't we find that that's not often the case? We often find that once we get something moving, it stops. Well, an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by another force. So what are these objects that causes your motion to cease? All right? When we're dealing with a ball rolling down the street, the force that's acting upon that ball to cause it to stop is gravity. What about when we're dealing with ourselves? All right? We get an idea, we find a target, we focus on it, we start moving that direction, I should say. What is the object that is going to cause that motion to cease? I believe it's 2 things. Number 1, your own brain. Guys, remember, your brain is a servo mechanism. It is designed to keep you alive and to regenerate the species. That is it. Anything it perceives antithetical to those 2 ends, it's going to try to stop you. If it senses you're doing something dangerous. Granted, these days we're not fighting saber-toothed tigers anymore, okay? but we can still do things that are dangerous. We can do things that can cause us to risk losing friends, losing family, the tribe, all right? Necessary for existence, okay? We can do things that can cause physical harm, okay? These are the kind of things, excuse me, that the brain is gonna throw up a flag, and it's gonna try to stop you from doing these things. Number two, friends, family, bosses, and coworkers. Once you set a goal and you start directing more of your focus, more of your attention to that goal, the people that were getting that attention are going to sense, excuse me, that they're not getting the attention anymore. They're not gonna like that, okay? You're gonna start hearing things like, oh, well, great. You're on a diet now. What's the rest of the family supposed to eat? Like they're absolutely incapable of fending for themselves at dinner time, okay? They're gonna try to throw you off course because they're not getting the attention that they were a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. They're not gonna like that. They're gonna resist. Guys, once you mount a campaign, if you raise an army, you're going to have to fight. Once you mount a campaign to achieve a goal, you are going to face resistance. Odds are that resistance is going to come in the form of your family, your friends, your coworkers, and your boss, okay? If you're spending 8 p.m. till midnight in college classes or at the gym with your trainer or working on whatever your side hustle is, you're probably going to be a little tired the next day. All right, somebody's going to start laying a trip on you. Well, it just seems like you're tired. I saw you yawning. I don't think I'm getting the performance out of you that I'm paying for. They sensed that you're doing something else, okay? Once you stop giving them your all and start putting some of that towards you, the people you were giving your all to are going to resist. Be wary of that, or I should say be aware of that, okay? Number one, your brain's gonna try to stop you, all right? Number two, your friends, your family, your boss, and your coworkers. They do not want to see you excel, particularly if that means surpassing them. Keep that in mind. I hope that helped. How about some sweet action footage? All right, guys, that's it. That's a wrap. That's the video for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I enjoyed making it. This is Resolve Life Training. Until next time.